Carlos, producer extraordinaire, is responsible for the creation that you just saw, the production of this Team Unity Roundtable episode. And I don't think it gets much better than Carlos when it comes to actual videography and video production. So it's an honor to have Carlos as part of our team. It's a pleasure to be here. I was asked to host today's Unity Roundtable because I missed one or maybe two programs. So Carlos and the guys decided that I should do most of the heavy lifting today. I'm very happy to do that. When I was told that I was to host the program, I asked that I introduce a fresh voice, and I got the clearance from the board of directors that, of course, go ahead. And they asked me whom. I said Chris Bugun, because Chris is a soldier, a fighter, a street fighter for the cause, for the good cause, someone who I think is quite progressive, and I shall introduce him a bit later on. But just to say to you that Carlos also joins me live with my brother Chris, and together we're going to present 60 minutes of information to you, what Team Unity is about, what we have been about, what we intend to do going forward. And we will deal with a number of issues today. One, we will look back at the official launch which took place in Calabishi. We will talk a little bit about the $1 million scholarship, lifetime scholarship, was offered to a deserving Calabishi student. And we will sort of deal with one or two other issues, all in the space of 60 minutes. So a very special good afternoon, welcome to the Roundtable, Unity Roundtable. We hope that you have questions of your own. If you have a question, just type in the message area or in the comments, whatever question you may have, and we will attempt also to answer those questions today. So let me introduce, first of all, the Deputy General Secretary of our movement, Carlos Charles, who is doubling as the producer today. Carlos, good afternoon and welcome to the mission. Welcome to yet another episode of our exciting engagement.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bruno, and good afternoon to our viewers. Thank you for viewing our program. Just want to shout out all the wonderful folks of Calibish who welcomed us there last week at around this time. And we look forward to seeing you again.
Wonderful. We will talk a little bit about Calibishi later because you don't know, there's so much to say. So we'll deal with that in a while, but let's introduce my brother and friend, confidant, soldier, patriot, Chris Buguno. Brother Chris, a very special good evening. Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is quite a privilege for me. I'm not worthy, but I know having life and breathing this air that I've breathed for so long that I think that, I'm thankful to God that I've done well, but many in this world are either above or beyond my capacity that I'm telling you, we're all in this together, no matter what favors you. And so I am pretty much excited to be here today to just give my little views and expertise on what is to come and what is to be said. Once again, thank you.
All right, good to have you. Chris, let's start with you because that's your first foray, or first time your face is being seen, voice is being heard live on a Team Unity platform. You have advocated for the Unity Progressive Movement on your own platform, but your talent had been identified by me and others a long time now, and we are pleased to introduce you as one of our own. And you don't have to be perfect in anything whatsoever. You just have to be someone who loves Dominica and who believes in progress and who wants to have your voice heard on issues. And voila, the platform is yours. So welcome to the team's platform, and we hope that whatever you say here will be truly representative of the kind of unity which we try to engender in politics of today. You could ask whatever questions you may wish to ask, and you could express whatever view you may wish to express. This is how we do it in Team Unity. So welcome again, Chris. And before we get into the meat of things, just provide us with an overview of things, a general overview, where you stand at this present era, juncture, and what can you say about what you have seen so far of the team?
I have lived a long time, and I have lived. I'll be 50 in November, and I've come across the good times in life and the difficult times in life. I've come across people of different characteristics, but what I've noticed is I've come from a great country, and it doesn't matter who you serve in our country. I think that our country are made up of beautiful people, smart people, intellectual people. I'm telling you, great people. For that reason, I know that my people, what I've researched is this. I've researched that in anything you do in life, you need at least 5 to 9 innovative alternatives in order to make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Whether it's in politics, whether it's in your home, you have to have choices. Our country have had good leadership all along. Everybody does the best. But I think at this point in time, the way life has changed and everything, a new vision is at hand. A new visionary is at hand. It's a paradigm shift into knowing that, okay, here we are. We understood the past. We understood your past politics. We understood your today, your circumstances, your criteria. But there is something new we have for you. And most of it you explained during the launching. But I want the young people in particular to know, the youth, that generation is going to continue. But for today, there is a new team on board that is worthy of your chances, to take your chances, to give something else a choice. I have a thing that I think through all the time, right? And it's like every year we have graduates, smart people, man, coming from college in Dominica, high school. So we cannot always stick upon what we know, right? We have to have new innovation. I have paid keen interest to Team Unity. Trust me, I haven't been always showing my face out there or saying something, but Team Unity have given me a new breath of fresh air that I think would advance any reasoning, whether it's political, whether it's religion, where any new advancement to empowerment of families. Even if you're having a Sunday dinner at your table, speak about what is new in the message that could advance your lives. So, having said that, my only hope here that I think would advance any what is new in the message that my only hope here that I think would
Yeah.
So as I continue,
I think there was a little
feedback. We could have overcome that. As I continue, what I want to say, the appetite and the anxiety of our people, they have not lost hope. They just don't know who else is going to lead, what else is going to follow, what in particular does any one of our people in our country as leaders have to give our grandchildren, us. And so hope I've not lost, but the anxiety is indeed, it is depressing to them. And they were telling me when I listened to my people that they were saying that, Chris, but everything that we've heard for the past 10 years, as far as a new party coming in, or new people, we've not seen nothing better. We've not heard nothing better. We've not, after Sunday launching, a few of them called me and also told me, man, Mr. Bruno was on point. But based on Mr. Bruno's history with APPNM, I said, you know what? This is the first time Mr. Bruno has presented himself as any leader in any political party for Dominica. And when I said that, again, I had to take hold of myself for my people that I know in Dominica, the people that I still help and everything. And I said to myself, Mr. Bruno have the perfect advanced theory that could be put into practical behavioral attitude for our people. But we have to make sure that our people does not, at this time, does not lose hope in us as leaders moving forward.
Okay. Okay. Well, Chris, that name you called in terms of the derailed movement, we don't dwell on that. I don't refer to that name, or I don't take references from failures. We actually progress. So at the event on Sunday, I claimed the role that I played in not stepping up when I should have stepped up. And I asked for forgiveness. And if we are for forgiving people, which I think we are, I was sincere enough to ask that I be forgiven for not claiming the task when I should have. Again, probably taking advice that I shouldn't have taken, but I'm not going to blame anyone. I'm accepting. But I think it's time that we move on, because here's the deal. The man or the people who create Boeing, the aircraft, right? Do they stop creating aircrafts because one had a defect or one failed or one crashed? No, they keep on making and are trying to advance. And yes, Dominicans have had a few failures politically for the past 2 decades, 3 decades. And there have been parties which have come and failed. And probably one of the parties that I was involved with failed. But that doesn't mean that I must fail or I must just give up or give up hope. Because Dominicans still want what Dominicans have always wanted. So as my grandmother used to say, cannot qui coule pa ka fe les autres pa voyager. Yes, failure is part of life. And we learn and we move on. And Team Unity, Dominica, I think, is the continuation of the people's cry for something different and new. And I have claimed it. I stepped out on day one with my brothers and sisters. Carlos is here. Kendra, Erwin, Kenty. We claimed it. I stepped out and I have been leading the charge since. And here's one thing about me, Chris. When Alex Bruno is in something, that thing doesn't fail. So whatever failed or whatever happened in the last scenario happened not on my volition. If I had my way, we would be on the way to becoming a party in government today. But that is not lost with TUD. We are ready. So it might be a little rocky to get back on track, but we are getting there. The pushback that we had at the beginning is not what we are having now. It's much better. And Dominicans know better when they see better. So I have not failed. I have not deceived anyone or misled anyone. I was just involved in an unfortunate situation where some people, instead of buying the vision to progress, took the decision to digress and to stay where they wanted to stay. But that's not going to cause me to stay there. And Dominicans are not going to stay there with them. Dominicans are going to move on. And that's the most I want to say about this past movement. I don't want to continue speaking about this. Absolutely. Because we've moved on, and I think Dominicans have understood that. And who want to continue, throwing up things in the air and blaming Alex is a matter for them. But if you check my track record, my dear brother, there is nothing in my record that suggests division or disunity or failure and remaining in it. Yes, I might have failed, but I never stayed there. I always moved on. And I think if people are ready and serious to move forward, I think they should just join the effort with Team Unity and unite. This is not a division movement. It's a united movement. And I guarantee you, Brother Chris, that moving forward, Dominicans will gravitate en masse towards what this is about. So I just wanted to deal with that because you raised it.
Get it all the way, yeah.
Yeah, we don't discuss failures and past situations on this program. And the name you call there, that's the first that name has been mentioned on our platform. And I wish that is not mentioned anymore because
absolutely
we are moving forward, not back. Okay. So am I clear on that, my brother? Did you?
Yeah. Yes, you are definitely clear. I wanted to get this out of the way, not for me, but for how we can re-educate our people as far as the same things you just said. And it's important that we did so to get it out of the way and to continue the progressive attitude that we should, for team unity.
Because it is like some people believe, based on what they think, that this is what you are, and they try to frame you into what you are. No, I do not know myself to be what people are trying to frame me in. Some people, not the majority, some. I have always known myself as a progressive, enterprising, people-loving, united guy. But if you listen to a particular 2 or 3 people, you will think that I'm not. And they will try to change my track record of being a successful person to one of being whatever it is, when it is just so not right. It is just not here.
I think actions have to change that, because based on what I've seen and know about team unity, I think that every so often something fresh has to come in to remind our people that we're here.
Good.
We're here. And so, every moment in the calendar moment with a date, and something spectacular has to be presented to them to give them that assurance, that guarantee.
And this is what team unity is about. A step forward, looking forward, navigating around the hurdles, bringing people together, calling attention to the positives, not talking about failures, not talking about missteps, not talking about what was already. We are looking for solutions. We are not highlighting problems. And most of the narratives, most of the discussion that I see, I just saw one again from another very popular speaker, calling Dominicans names and saying that Dominicans are this and that. And that is not how, yes, we have heard enough of that. I used to be one of those people doing that, not calling Dominicans names, but calling attention to the folly, to the problems. But what has that done for us for the past 20 years? We have to move beyond the problems and get into the solutions. And that is what team unity is about, my dear brother. We launched our movement in Calibishi on Sunday, and some people call and say, I expected more. That ended short. It wasn't long. But our events are never going to be more than 45 minutes an hour. We have said so, Chris. We are never going to have a campaign event that goes beyond an hour if we can help it. What can you not say in an hour that you have to say in 2 hours? People's time is valuable. We are not going to have cabinet meetings going for 3-4 hours. We are going to come in, do the people's business, go on the ground and represent the people. So our thing in Calibishi lasted an hour. That was the time put aside for it. And moving forward, every campaign event is going to be within 45 minutes to an hour, no longer. New face, new idea. We're not going to make We're not going to have loud music, dancing, jumping in the air as if we are getting tired on FET and we're not getting the message. We'll have that too if we need to. But it's about our message. The atmosphere in Calibishi, oh, what a wonderful atmosphere, Chris. On the beach, overlooking the sea.
I saw it. It was remarkable.
Chris, you have not seen that in any political event in Dominica.
It was remarkable.
So we chose that event. We chose that area. We didn't expect, nor did we try to bring in big crowds. We had big crowds on the social media, live on MO News and our platform. We had thousands viewing. And we had people talking on the ground. We had spectators as well. So this idea of bossing in hundreds and thousands of people. And
you know what I think? Bruno? Bruno, what I think is sometimes the critics are the most important people in any organization or for any organization or in life in particular. They represent, even on a higher level, the true core system of any group, because what they do is they enable you to re-educate yourself, re-evaluate yourself, because every citizen matters, whether they're for or against. And so what I took from that is the citizens are intrigued, they were logged in. And even if they did not agree with the whole presentation or whatever, they were logged in. So that tells me that everyone should be represented. Everyone has value and everyone has a message, whether you agree or disagree. And I sometimes learn from those who disagree with me. And
Oh,
so
yes.
we have to give kudos to them as well. And we have to say thank you for for being part of a team. Because even if you disagree, you're still part of a team, you know.
Oh no, no, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that probably some of those critics, and there can be genuine critics, and there are critics who are not genuine. You know that, right? There are people who just try to get under your skin and people who try to derail you. But they are real, and we got some real genuine people who ask some serious questions. Beautiful critic. There are some who just put mud up in the air. There is one particular critic who tried to misrepresent my record. You don't do that if you're critiquing someone. You look at the record and you tear it apart. You don't replace it with lie and smut and mistruth or half truths. So in politics, there are some who use mischief and call it politics. Politics is not mischievous. Politics is engaging. People use mischief in politics and call that politics, and they lose. People who play politics that way end up losing most of the time. So sometimes you have to stand up and fight. And there are one or two comments that I think I saw which caused some concern. But as you said, it makes you better when people say things. Either they do not understand or they are trying to test your temperament. In any case, we are good. So it's not that I'm going to be angry at any critic, but we are presenting something new when it comes to the politics. And those very critics today who stand up and say, oh, it was an event by the Bay, small event, will understand that those big political events have not done very much for Dominica. Millions of dollars being spent on a campaign just for what? So we're not going to spend millions. We don't have millions to spend. If we had a million, we spend it. And I'll talk about the scholarship in a while. We're going to spend money. We're going to do what we have to do. But we're not going to be gluttonous about the way in which we contest. And certainly when we get into government, we are going to be very, very conservative with the use of the people's money. We're going to spend people's money on the people progressively. And there is no question about us continuing, Chris. If God forbid something happened to this movement, I do not know. But we believe that by the grace of the Almighty, we are going to see the better days in our country. And we are going to provide that kind of a platform for progress, meaningful political progress.
Bruno, I don't ask questions for the benefit of myself, but I ask it based on my involvement with people on a daily basis, interactions.
Mm-hmm.
Our people are also keen and are interested in knowing that I try my best to explain of things I don't know, and knowing that when and how, when in particular, are you going to present a leader? Because this is how you find people to grow. Somebody got to lead in whether it's your home. And so are you willing to give that information with a date in mind? That when people should expect that.
Don't you think that I'm the natural leader of the movement right now?
Absolutely.
So let me lead until such time that we announce me leading or somebody else leading.
Because what they said, you also explained that you wasn't here to be representative of my great village, Calibishi.
No, people, based on the chatter that we heard on the ground, were saying that I came to be presented as the candidate and for the constituency and for Prime Minister. Now, that is not what we plan to do in Calibishi. So I said, so that's not what we're here to do. If I was going to be declared as candidate, you would have known. The entire world would know because I would not stay quiet about it. We would galvanize support, bring all my group in, Kero, Ugly, Mewo. The entire masses would know. So it was not that. It was presenting the party to the world from my village by the Bay, different style. That was simply what we wanted to do. When the time comes, and let's say I decide that I am going to accept what many people think I should and become the leader or become the candidate for Calibishi, for Paybush, well, that won't be a secret. So that's what I cleared up in Calibishi on Sunday. And I claimed it in my speech in May 29, and on my speech on Sunday, that I will be the natural leader of the movement. I am. And that's what I have been doing. I have not been shying away and hiding. So if any other announcement is going to be made, it will be made in time. So people should not wait until that is made right now. Look at what we're doing. I'm advocating for the movement right now. As the general secretary of our movement, I am leading the charge. And if I decide not to, or if I decide I'm going to make it official, people will know in time. But for now, let's continue growing our brand. So let's not wait until that time. Let's work with the plan. Let's work with the vision and the mission as your natural leader for now to advance our cause. Because the idea of identity politics, where we depend on one person to make it happen, we don't do that. Team unity. The day of waiting for one guy to come and say everybody must get is not the kind of politics we play in. Ask Carlos. They will tell you. So even the unity leader, we don't have a party leader in our movement, the unity leader, even the unity leader is not the overall and only person. It is just the person directing the affairs. So from day one, we don't want it to be seen as the same old party leader and this and that. In fact, we don't have a party leader. We have a unity leader. We have a team of individuals helping that leader. Not going to be as it had been, where that one person is the person that you go to and you vote for the party because of that one person. You vote for your representatives, and the person with that help everyone, bring the team together. So some may take a little while to come around with that, but that is what we are bringing. That's what we are presenting, and we know that is the right way to do it.
Alex, I think we have a question from a viewer, Joe Boston. Thank you for viewing, and he wants to know what makes you think we need change. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you see his question there. What makes you think we need a change?
Well, we're talking about change. We don't talk about change in Team Unity. I do not know that word. Change is a thing that has happened and will happen continually. So we don't talk about change. We don't talk about change. Our mantra is that we need progress. And we cannot remain in the same stagnated state, expecting progress if we're not getting it being stagnated. And Joe should know, even if he supports red, green, or blue, that we have not been as progressive as we could be in our country. The fact that we have one majority party running the affairs of state for 20 years, going on 25 years, suggests a staleness, a stalemate. So if anything else, we should have a little movement in that area. I mean, look at all the other Caribbean countries changing their government. Why can't we? And why don't we? Is it because our government is lavishing everybody with goodies and everybody's progressing and the economy is booming and the streets of Roseau are paved with gold? No, it is happening because of the shenanigans of what is happening in the electoral process, and probably the ineptness of the alternative, and maybe the astuteness of the majority. You do not know. So Joe, we don't speak about change in Team Unity. We speak about unity and progress. And any country which has a leader for 20 years, the same leader, the same governing majority, cannot be a progressive country. Even if you think the country is doing well and some is doing well and some isn't. It cannot be in a democracy that one government for 25 years is a sign of progress. So we would like to amend this, and over it all, the leader of our country is tired. I mean, listen to me. The leader might be a younger person still, but 20 years in the leadership of a country will tire you. Anybody, the best of us. Nobody with their sane mind wants to continue being in power for so long. So the gentleman needs a little break, and a new ascendancy must take place. That's why we're here, Joe. We're not against anybody. We are just for Dominica, and we do not talk change in Team Unity. We talk progress and unity, because change is a thing that will happen no matter what. There's no way this party can continue being the government of Dominica forever. It cannot. Even if some people want it, it will eventually, something will happen. It's either people replace it or it get replaced some other means. But there is no way this is going to continue for a long time anymore again. And that's what we are about. Love, unity, progress, and hope. Change is something that happens no matter what.
Mr. Bruno,
yeah.
I am asking questions for the people that have asked me that I know not about. Based on our history in Dominica, we've had friends from countries like Simon Bolivar and Cuba, and they still remain our friends today. And what do you think of identity as far as a country, a nation, an independent nation taking a new form of identity? And maybe that might mean changing your constitution and handling aspects of your economic, your fiscal aspects in a different way, your taxation. What do you think of the isms of communism and socialism and capitalism in a democratic way?
All right. Well, I don't go for the isms. I don't really prefer one ism over the other. I think capitalism, socialism, communism, they're all, well, they have different facets, but they're all part of the same interplay. Capitalism speaks about free market and the fact that people can accumulate wealth without unnecessary control of government. Socialism speaks about government control of the wealth and of the finances of the state. Communism is an extreme facet of socialism. The problem with socialism and communism is that because the government controls the economy and the distribution of wealth, and one person normally is at the helm of government, that one person becomes very ambitious and can get corrupt and can unilaterally run the country. We have seen it in Venezuela, we've seen it in Russia, we've seen it in China and elsewhere, where that one head of government becomes the ultimate authority and as such becomes corrupt. So socialism and communism may not be bad things, but because of the way in which the system works, the leader who becomes very ambitious can just take over the entire system and run it on their own. And you hear things like oligarchs, wealthy families and friends helping that authoritarian leader to run the country. That can happen in Dominica if Dominica goes the socialist route. In fact, we are not very far from that with the way in which our government have been working. So that can be a problem for that reason. Capitalism works a bit better, although it rips off the people who do not have much, but at least it's free market, so they say, and people have an opportunity to progress. If I had to choose, I would kind of choose between both, between capitalism and socialism, something like a social democracy, where you have a democracy, yes, but more leaning towards social amenities with the ideals of capitalism, but not too much. So we would kind of have a blended approach to managing the affairs of our country.
So you're saying basic necessities like education and health wouldn't be based on a higher level of taxation or income?
No, we would and should still continue to provide health and education to the people at a rate, or not free, because nothing is free, but in a way that the people do not feel constrained about receiving those amenities. Education is tantamount, health is paramount. I think those should continue to be socialized, but housing should not be a socialized program. You can give assistance for low-income housing, but never should government go into socializing housing as we seem to be leaning towards in Dominica. That creates chaos, creates problems, it creates porosity in the economy, and it creates a position where incumbent advantage is overused and overplayed. Even the idea of scholarships should be done on merit, not done on the way that is being done. So there are certain no-go areas, the basic needs of people, bread and butter issues, health and education, yes. Housing, the luxuries and other amenities should not be socialized. And that's why I'm talking about blending the two. Because if you do that, you socialize the country, and then you have one leader managing the socialist organization, and you have corruption creeping in. Because listen, corruption is a very simple thing in definition. Getting privileges beyond your salary in public office. That's corruption. Corruption doesn't mean stealing, It does not only mean stealing, it means getting profits beyond your salary while serving in public office. So you can see how easy it is for people to get corrupt. And I'm not going to say that anybody in Dominica is corrupt. It's not like me to do. But let people who understand it say if they want to say, and let's fix it. Especially having one team serve for too long it opens the door for abuse.
Mr. Bruno, that puts me to another question. Let me segue. When it comes to past, we know we've had a lot of private sector involved in our economy. How does your private sector fiscally, generate income to an economy, if it's more or if it's less? And what is the problem in between why governments or administrations or seem in our country presently doesn't seem to involve most of our private sector? And why is it that most of our private sector are not involved in creating entrepreneurship and that type of industrial basis again and creating jobs? Why is the influence no longer there?
Good question. Let me tell that. The private sector has been undermined by the public sector. The government has taken over the role of the private sector in many cases. The government gives money for school, the government gives free bus ride, the government gives free money, and the private sector is straining because people are not actively engaged in the economy. People are not taking loans from the bank. The bank is part of the private sector. When the government gives you money every month, or they give you a free house, you do not now go and take a loan to build a house, so the bank cannot make money. So the government should create the environment for that private sector to thrive, because the private sector is the engine of growth of the economy, not the government. The government don't make money. The government suck money from the people. The private sector make money. So you can tax the private sector, tax individual, but you, the government, should not be giving people money the way you have given people money. Because when you give that to them, you halt the economy and you take away the role of the private sector. The bankers won't say that, because the bankers, I guess, have things to take care of. They expect to get friendly policies to assist the operation. So the manager of the bank will not say that. But I will say that, and you can say that. We have too much government doing. I'm not saying that the government should not give. There are people who are going to always need. But my Lord, some of the people who I'm hearing getting are people who are working and who can do otherwise. So instead of giving people to hold them loyal to you, free up the country, free up the economy, present the enabling environment for thriving. So Alex can go and take a loan and build his house, pay money to the bank makes interest, and the economy keep on flowing. So Chris, that's the long or short answer to your question. That when we have less government interference, less government handout and subsidy, the economy will thrive and the public sector will be the true engine of growth that it's supposed to be.
So that is a message you're sending, that Team Unity will create.
Of course, we are going to give the public sector more. We're going to offer the public sector tax breaks when they get involved in employing more people. Who doesn't want tax breaks?
Private sector, you mean?
Yeah, the private sector. We will give them all the support that they deserve. We will speak about revamping the electrical grid, the electricity grid, to allow people who are on the grid, who are paying $20,000 and $30,000 now a month, to pay $15,000, $10,000 a month. They will pay, and they will use more electricity if they pay less. The models from China is amazing. You charge little and you make plenty. So instead of, let's say, the supermarket paying $35,000 light bill a month, we will create a partnership with them, because now we own the power generating plant. So we will cut back on the taxes, we will cut back on what we take for ourselves, and we will give it to the private sector, and they will reinvest the money that they make in the people by employment, through remittances and through donations that the government cannot make. There is nowhere, Chris, a government can take care of everybody, even in countries which are oil rich like Venezuela. Look at what's happening in Venezuela today. When government try to be too ambitious, they end up messing things up. Let the private sector take care of those things, and the government should be there like the referee, just to make sure that everything is going well. So under a Team Unity administration, the private sector will see the best days that you could have imagined in Dominica. Nobody who's making money now will stop making money, but more people will make more money. The people who are involved with government and doing business for government, don't feel frightened. We're not going to take your opportunities from you. You're going to continue making. We will just have more people make, Because the more people who make money in the economy, is the better it is for the economy, Chris. And that's simply how we're going to control the affairs of government, by empowering the private sector.
You know, and again, to stick to that same point, during the launching, you had maybe a 5 to 7 minute speech on leaders in our community. You're talking about civil and civic sectors, where you say they're failures. Can you explain, expound upon, you know, you spoke of evangelism and everything, the civic and civil society, how they failed us, and what are you going to engage them pre coming into government, or what are you willing to do to make such change?
Oh, we have already begun engaging them, you know. We are speaking to them unofficially and officially. And what we want to do is to tell them, look, you have the power to be a leader and not to depend on a political leader or a political party for you to be a leader. What has happened to our spiritual leaders, our religious leaders, our civic leaders, our local government leaders? It is as if their power has been condensed under one team, one party, one man. Cannot be. When you do that, you dilute your entire self. You deem yourself impotent. So what we are saying to the leaders is believe, even people in the commission, electoral commission, the prime minister can't do you anything. The president, no, you are a creature of the constitution. You are appointed, they can change you. But if you do what you have to do and they change you, the people will see what they are doing and the people will stand up for you. So what we are saying is all these leaders, the Kalinago leaders and the social club leaders, just step up and be good by the people, and the people will be good by you. One prime minister we have, and one president. One? How can that one and one be more powerful than everybody else? So there was a time when people lead. There was a time when preachers preach. You remember the days? In the 70s, late 70s, early 80s? Preachers preach. Right now, preachers don't preach. I hear a preacher was called to pray. An evangelist was called to pray at a national function of the government of Dominica, Chris. And the evangelist is praying for the prime minister and the cabinet, not praying for the opposition and other people of the government. The government is opposition. The government is comprised of opposition and majority. So the UWP has been in government for 20 years. You know, they may tell you otherwise. They may not be the majority party, but they have been serving in government. So how can you, as an evangelist who has been invited to pray in a government function, come to that function and only pray for the majority party side? That is a problem. Back in the day, they would pray for all. So what we are saying is that leaders step up and lead. Do not lead in the shadow of somebody who does you favor and gives you a roof over your church or a wall by the river where your house almost went, or give you some money for your child to go to school. That's not how it has been. The money that you get is not a favor. You think it's the personal money from that person's pocket? It's our money. So say thank God, be grateful, but do what is right. That's all we have been saying. So what we do, Chris, we engage. And we tell the leaders where they could go and what they should do and why they should probably do it. Because if they do it, we're going to fix things. And when things are fixed, they're going to be empowered. They won't be leading in the shadow of one person. So that's our plan.
We have another question from a viewer. I think her name is Cheyenne Laura, saying that it's not everyone in a country that can take a loan to build a house. The system you're talking about, it will have way more poor people. So how would you respond to a question?
Well, I do not know what that person is saying in terms of the system I'm talking to will have more poor people, because I don't think anybody is poor. I think people have different economic abilities. What we are saying is government should create the enabling environment. Government should have programs that cater to low-income individuals. So those of us who can afford a loan should take our loan. We should pay money into the economy. The economy is buoyant. Those who cannot afford can be assisted with low housing, as governments in Dominica have done. Patrick John did it. Dame Eugenia did it. They didn't just give it free. They made it available to people who had to pay. If it's $1 you can afford, you will pay $1, but you cannot just get things for free. Nothing is free. If you do that in the economy, you're going to collapse the economy. I'm shying. So I'm not saying that everybody must take a loan, but those who can afford. The journalists, those people who on the radio always talking, they're working, right? So if it's $10, you can pay that. Don't get an apartment free. Pay what you can afford. And if you really cannot afford, the government should provide housing for you at a rate that you can afford or for free. Well, nothing is free, but at a rate that you do not have to pay. So somehow, some kind of calculation should be considered. But people should live comfortably. People should have roof over their heads. So we're not against giving people a roof. We're against us saying that is yours, that is free, that is free. That is a calamitous thing when you just tell people things are free, because nothing, Cheyenne, is free. So we say we pay based on what you earn. If you're not earning, we will try to make you earn. There should be no one of working age, healthy and strong, who can work and does not have work. What kind of country is that when people can work and you're not giving them work to do? Too many people depend. Too many people are reliant. So we will change that equation, because Dominicans don't want to be reliant. You know how many people in Dominica who are suffering in silence because they don't want people to know they don't have? Those who go and ask are people who are very brave and who are desperate, who say, well, I have a choice. But the majority of people try to make do with what they have. So Dominicans are very proud people who would not necessarily go out and say some things are bad. So what I'm saying is our team would create the environment for more people to work and to be involved in the economy. And those who cannot work will get all the benefits they should get by the government. But there will be a system in place. It will not be the prime minister of our team that will be making those decisions. It will be social welfare.
Mr. Bruno, we are getting closer to the time. So I wanted to really, again, ask questions on behalf of the people.
Mm-hmm.
They've asked me about the size of your cabinet.
Yes.
And they've also asked me about two things. Are representatives of constituencies going to necessarily be cabinet members, or can you take them from the private sector to be cabinet members? And they also involve education, and as far as most people have been education have been paid for the parents in the villages working and paying for the education. So based on that $1 million scholarship, that why didn't you distribute it, or what can you do to help others create their own scholarship in their own home?
Yeah.
Under what platform does that fall?
Amen. Good question, my brother. Here's the deal. There are 21 constituencies in Dominica, and we have 11 cabinet positions. So members of parliament do not necessarily become members of cabinet. And yes, we will appoint people from the private sector to serve in cabinet as well, if we have to. So you don't come to run for office expecting to become someone who has a government ministry to manage with all the perks that comes with it. That is not how we do politics in the new era. If you are qualified, if you have the skills to run 2 ministries or 3 ministries, we will so do. So you can look at all our ministries, Chris. It is actually on the inside cover of this wonderful document that we have published, our mini.
Where can the citizens see that?
Oh, that's online. That's on our page. We can share that far and wide. And look, Carlos is sharing it now.
Okay.
Only that is available. So those ministries, or those 11 ministries, what will drive the operations of our government. Members of parliament will work with the people on the ground through and in assistance with the local authorities. So our power reps will not be sitting down in ministry and the air condition just doing what? Go work for the people. Go on the ground, have office hours, help the local government.
So what you're saying, PAL reps should basically be the leaders of the village councils?
No, the local government should be the local government, but the PAL reps should work with the local authorities to help the people. So our PAL reps would be spending a lot of time in the local authorities on the ground. Yes, they'll have cars and transportation and everything they need, but their time is to represent. Parliamentary representatives will represent. Those who serve in cabinet will also serve in cabinet, but most of the remit of the people who are elected to serve the
exactly people, what Norris Prevost did and Melissa is doing.
Amen. So that is what we will do. In terms of the $1 million, that is a one-off thing. The scholarship. It is a one-off deal that I begged the team to allow us to do because I am from Calibishi. The party, the team, the movement is registered in Calibishi, 7358 Back Street, Calibishi. First major movement which is registered in a rural community. We came back home to regain our roots. We present the movement on the beach where I grew up. I begged the team to allow me to do that. So we had to, on the day, announce a major initiative, and the $1 million scholarship is a one-time thing that a deserving Calibishi student will get. And we have 2 people now, a short list of 2, and probably in a week or 2 time, we will announce the winner or the person who was going to get the scholarship. And it's not $1 million overnight. It's $1 million over the life of the time of the child. The next maybe 20, 15, 20 years.
Is there criteria to that?
The child has to be entering school this year for the first time. There must be need, economic and social need, great need, and it has to be a blinded choice. We cannot get involved in deciding who. It has to be a local community of people who decide who should get it. I think we are down to 2 individuals now, and they are going to decide which one. We write to the council, tell the council.
Can you abort that scholarship based on GPA?
Chris, now you are speaking, my dear brother. So there are conditionalities to the scholarship. And first of all, the scholarship cannot be transferred. So if you lose that scholarship, it is lost. Another child can pick it up. You must earn excellence at school. You need to volunteer in the community, your time, your service. You need to be producing the goods for you to retain the scholarship. And all these conditionalities are in the document that's going to be signed between the child and the parent and the team through the village council of Calibishi. So you're quite right. And the money is not being given to the child overnight. Probably the first scholarship, the first award would be a few $100s because the child just started in school. And that will be the case for 7 years, maybe more than that. And then high school, 5 years, and college 2 years, and college 2 years, and college in the US for 4 years, and university for another 2 years, and doctoral another 5 years. So Chris, at the time when we will have to be spending most of the money, we think, with all reasonable projection, that our team would be in office. Or probably not, but we would have been in a position to continue to source the money to fund the scholarship. So some people ran away with it and say $1 million in somebody's hand. Where are you getting that? Well, the fact is we have the money promised, and we have money to start at least for the first 5 years of taking care of the child's elementary education. And moving forward, we will disburse more money to the village council to take care of that child in college and that child in university and that child moving forward. That is a guarantee.
I love the idea of village council empowerment in communities.
Yeah, so that's what we're about. So that's a one-off thing to mark the moment, to mark the occasion. What we will do when we get into government, we will distribute the scholarship to different students around the board. But because we were presenting the movement for the first time, because the movement was registered, because we have a symbol, we are full-fledged movement ready to contest election, you know. We were registered in Calibishi, so we did that for Calibishi, and no one should disagree that
Mr. Bruno, explain, because another question came up. Explain movement versus political party.
Movement, the movement demands more than just a traditional party. Parties are about their own interests. Movements are about the people's interests. That's it. So if you see the people who are advocating for parties, it's about the closed window of what they want. A movement talks about the people's interests. So we are a party, not a traditional party, but we are a movement which is biased to Dominica, not just blue Dominica or red Dominica or green Dominica. We are driven by the flag as our symbol, and the colors of the national flag drives our mission. So that's the difference between movement, political, and party, political. And some people seem to make the little, but that's what we understand when we say we are a movement. We are a non-traditional party.
You have basically explained the whole launching, what you said, because it was based on what you said was based, the questions are based on what you said.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hope that our people understand and have patience, and that a new movement is here, and they should, matter of fact, you are best able to tell them where they could find information.
But look at me here. I'm reaching. You're reaching out, man saying,
Yes, I'm speaking of days that when we're not on here.
Oh, we have active social media pages. Just go on there. There's lots of information there. Stuff to read, stuff to hear, stuff to listen to. And just inbox me or call me. We'll give you information. We are going to be on the ground doing a series of town halls. A series, Chris. Meeting with people one-on-one. We're beginning in the east. We're going in the west. We're going in the north. We're coming back in the south. We are planning those events as we speak. So we are going to be meeting with people. We're not hiding, Chris. I'm the easiest person to find. Just put something in the air and I'll answer.
Yes, sir.
So we are meeting with people. We are very anxious to answer the questions. No hidden agenda, nothing whatsoever, Chris.
I had a brief discussion with about 7 people this week.
Mm-hmm.
And the major topic of conversation was, first of all, how do you separate blue leaders from red leaders? And based on a unification party, Team Unity, are you interested in, even if somebody from Team Red or Team Blue are willing to join Team Unity, would that be acceptable?
But of course, we don't know party. We don't know color. We have no prejudice when it comes to people being part of our movement. In fact, we call those people who identify blue or red to be part of this. Be part of the flag. Look at our colors, Chris, on the screen. What you see in there. We represent all. We are not here to try to defend one. We are here to promote Dominica, my brother. So if you are part of the red or part of the blue and you think you want something more progressive, well, that's where we are. We're not trying to destroy parties too, No, we want to help the country unite by moving away from the extreme partisanship. That's what we are, my brother Chris. So those people who are involved in their party should not feel bad. They should come, be part of this, get some progress, organize their party in the process, and next election, go back and try again. But if the present situation remains the same, well, it's not the same because we are here anyway. But if we did not emerge, I can tell you the results of the next election would be even more humongous in favor of the incumbent. Because based on trends and things that we have measured on the ground, it doesn't look as if the minority party had done what was necessary to have been done to successfully contest against the majority party. I mean, I'm not saying so with a heavy heart, but that's the reality, my brother Chris. And Dominicans are telling you that if they had a choice, they would choose none. Over 40% of Dominicans are telling you, I'm not in that. I give up, I whatever. So we are here to give hope. We are not saying that we're going to become the government overnight. We would like to. But we are saying that we are giving a progressive shot at it. So if this time we do not make it, we're not anxious for power. We will make it the next time or the time after with no vilification, no cursing, no fighting. But honestly, we are ready to replace the present government. And when we say government, we mean both sides. Because the government is not one side, it's majority and minority. We are ready to replace the governing regime and to give new hope to our young people in Dominica, Chris. We are 100% ready, qualified, and willing to do so.
My brothers, we just hit the 1 hour mark. I think we should consider wrapping up and sticking true to our 1 hour or less engagement. We need to wrap up.
Okay, I am excited. I could go on for 3 more hours, but if you say so, Mr. Producer, so be it. But I think we should have another program soon, maybe even before Sunday.
Yeah.
And we should have Chris back on to play the role of invigilator or questioner, because Chris has asked some real good questions. This is the kind of questions that you should ask politicians to answer. Chris, you are a very good questioner when it comes to those things.
Well, sir, you know, I mean, much have I bones up. And for the sake of it, you know, I love my country and I love my people, and I sometimes I engage a lot with them, and those are things they want to know, and those are things that I think they should know. And I also think that my people can no longer suffer a loss, you know, no longer, you know, I want to be part of a team that gives them hope, that hope with comfort, and to grow as they grow, and to help them grow. And I'm here for the long haul. I'm committed to team unity. And so I just want to give you thanks again, Mr. Bruno, for your vision, and the rest of the team. And you know, one thing we needed to know that as far as financing, you know, anything has to come from the ground, from shovel ready.
Yes.
So the people were asking, when are you going to put the site on so people could give a little dollar, a little 50 cents?
Well, it is now in Carlos's remit to get the account operationalized. We have done the paperwork. We just need to finalize it and to publish it. And we're asking the public to please support the movement. That's where our money is going to come from. There are some who came out early saying, "Oh, Alex has this money, that money." Which money, man? Which money, man? Which money? No, man. The support is going to come from you, the people. We hope that you put your money into the movement, because I think that is the ultimate political movement that is going to take Dominica from the level that we are now to a different level. So, Chris, thanks for coming on. I see the producer is giving us a sign to wind up. We should wind up. Let's leave it as that. And I will be more than happy to answer your other questions in another program. But for now, we must wrap up. So Mr. Producer, until you want me to say anything else, I am going to close up shop. And it was a pleasure being here. And I'm looking forward to having Chris join us again in the not too distant future.
Yes, Chris, and it was nice having you, brother Chris.
Bless.
I hope you will join us another time, and we make it a good showing out to the public and to our viewers. Thank you for looking. I see we have Emo News, and not forgetting our good friend Push Past 10. Always look at our programming and our many other viewers who ask questions and shares and so on and so forth. Look forward to engaging with you guys one-on-one. See you on the ground. I see we have a question, but we will answer the question.
You can probably answer that last question, and the people will understand. Let's answer that final question, because the support has been really steady today. I can see the numbers, man. It's really, really steady. So ask the question, Mr. Producer, quickly, and then we will leave.
Why did Team Unity not have conversation with the minority and then form the government? This would have had a positive impact.
That's what they say. That's not what we think.
It's a question.
Yeah, answered. That's what that person is saying. That's not what we think. That's not what the data is supporting. The data is saying new, progressive. Probably if the minority had retooled and become very progressive and new in their approach, there would be no Team Unity. But election had been how long ago, and what has the minority done since? Tell me, somebody. And the people have been demanding it. So do it. So we did what the people are demanding. We hope now we can speak with the minority and they would see some common sense in the realness of our work. Because if it was done before, there would never be a Team Unity today. And the people have been asking for it. That's the answer to that question.
Well, Alex, I'll leave you have the final word.
Thanks again. Thanks to the supporters. Excited. I'm ready to go. I think we should have a program tonight again, because there's so much more that can be said. But again, in keeping for discipline and keeping people very brief and to the point, we have to wrap up at this time. Until next week, Sunday, for Unity Roundtable, it has been a pleasure. Excited to serve.
Election come and gone, some of them treat me with scorn, others put the whole point against me. Tell them I don't give a damn, I am going to sing my song exactly as I see it. Whoever wants to make me a political enemy, who feel that they're playing God and could wreck me life for me, tell them I ain't running away. Tell them for me no dice. I ain't gonna eat lies, I ain't gonna grow old, sitting in the cold, not the shorty. No way, all you have to beat me, all you have to bury me, more than 6 feet or more. Tell them I say, I was born in this land, I go die in this land, nobody go run me, from where me come from, nobody go run me, nobody go run me, nobody go run me lad, nobody go run me. Me mama must yam, me papa must yam,